I got a yoga ball, and now that I got a yoga ball, Nakey Jakey has nothing on me. He has nothing. Yes. Yes. That is why I do it. I'm number 5. Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am!
Over the past few weeks, I've had a lot of free time, and I mean a lot of free time. So I figured instead of sitting around just waiting to die, maybe I should watch an old favorite of mine. So I decided to rewatch How I Met Your Mother. Buckle up, baby. If you don't know, which I can't imagine someone not knowing what it is, but I am aware that there are children on YouTube who may not have seen it, so I will explain. And also, if you're a child, maybe click off of this channel. I don't think this is for you. How I Met Your Mother is a TV sitcom that ran from 2005 to 2014, which means it aired almost 20 years ago, which is insane. Fair warning for anyone wanting to watch it who's never seen it before. How do I put this lightly? It is rampant with transphobia, so look out for that. It's about this guy named Ted. He sits his kids down to tell them the story of how he met their mother. And so for 9 seasons of the show, Ted is explaining to his children how he met his mother. How I Met Your Mother follows the younger version of Ted, starting out in his early 30s and ending off in his mid to late 30s. It follows him and his group of friends. There's, I was gonna say player, but I think the proper word is sociopath, Barney Stinson. That's one of Ted's best friends. Then there's Lily, Marshall Erickson's wife. She is a kindergarten teacher and an art consultant later in the show. Then you have the reporter, Robin. She is the love interest of Ted for the first few seasons and also pretty much the whole show. We'll get into that later. And then there's beautiful boy, Marshall Erickson. He is the only innocent character in this entire show, I swear. I can count the bad things he did on one hand. Every other character, it has at least one moment in most of the episodes where you can honestly say they're the worst human alive. That is true. I've been rewatching it. There's a lot of they're bad people. Especially Barney. I'm not going to get into the specifics of that because I don't want to get demonetized. I specifically want to talk about a couple of episodes because, like with most sitcoms, there comes a point where maybe writers change, maybe directors change, actors don't want to be in the part anymore, whatever have you. A lot of times shows tend to go downhill in quality after about season 5 or 6, and there's a multitude of reasons, but the main reason is writers getting sick of it and wanting to move on to newer projects. For the most part, How I Met Your Mother is a pretty flawless show. Granted, there is a lot of stuff wrong with that, but what I mean is it doesn't dip in quality very much. There's only one episode that is regarded as really bad, and we're never going to talk about that episode because it never happened. Anyway, most characters in TV shows become like flanderizations of themselves. If you don't know what flanderization is, it's when a character, like Ned Flanders from The Simpsons, is stripped of his actual the parts of him that make him a 3-dimensional character and go down to just what the main joke about him is. Like, Ned went from a really caring, loving, supportive dad that was always taught us morals and stuff to just a Christian dad that says, haddly daddly. That's what flanderization is. Another example is how Joey progressively became more stupid throughout the show of Friends, the same as Eric from Boy Meets World. How I Met Your Mother really doesn't do that. A lot of times flanderization happens around season 6 of sitcoms. Oddly enough, excluding The Simpsons, that doesn't start until like season 10 or 14 or whatever. But How I Met Your Mother is different in that it continues to add dimensions to these 3-dimensional characters every season, no matter what. Like in season 6, basically the whole first half of the season is centered around how Marshall loves his dad. His dad is his best friend in the whole world. He would never do anything without him. Marshall wouldn't want to live without his dad. Then a little later in the season, the episode Bad News happens. Basically, Bad News, it begins with the number 50 on a folder, and that begins a countdown. Basically, the entire episode, Marshall is trying to provide a sample so he can see if he is fertile or not, and that's what the whole episode is about. And his parents come to town and they're just really bothering him. They're annoying the absolute hell out of him, and I just like, basically he just ends up just leaving and storming out, and then he eventually gets his job done. And at the end of the episode, the countdown reaches 1 and Lily comes out of a cab. Marshall tells her that he loves her. Lily tells Marshall that his dad died, and he starts crying reasonably, and he was like, God, I'm not ready for this, and that almost broke me. But luckily the next episode is much more heartwarming. They're at his dad's funeral, and Marshall's worried about how his dad's last words to him were, "Rent Crocodile Dundee 3 on cable, it still holds up." And those last words are beautiful. If I'm in control of my last words, that's them, all right? But his siblings and his mom all had wonderful last words from his dad, and he's bummed out that he doesn't get that. But Marshall finds out that he has a voicemail from his dad, and he's like, oh, I don't know if I want to listen to it. What if it's worse than Crocodile Dundee 3? And that's essentially where the whole episode goes, is he's just having this dilemma, and then by the end he finally caves and goes outside to listen to it. And then the gang comes outside to try to console him, and they find out the voicemail was just a pocket dial, and Marshall plays it for them. And then I'm not going to explain what happens in the scene. You're just going to have to watch, because I also had to watch it.
Thanks a lot, God. Thank you. You took my father, the greatest man that I have ever known, and you whipped him off this earth way too young.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up, right? Everybody gangsta till they undog your corn. I feel like that kind of writing wouldn't happen late game in most other sitcoms. And you can really tell that the creators of the show knew exactly what they wanted from the beginning. And I just love watching Barney's journey from being an actual sociopath into marrying Robin and falling in love. Ted's journey of finding his wife, Tracy, her name's Tracy, she's wonderful, and falling in love with her and getting married to her and having kids. And that's how the show ends. No further questions, that's how it ends. But yeah, I just love How I Met Your Mother so much, and I'm so glad that I get to talk about it. And yeah, of course, the characters are flawed, and they're all horrible, and there are many times in the show where a character is having the worst night of their life, and Ted's right there, but he doesn't understand that they're having a bad time, and they're just in complete agony, while Ted's over here just edging to pictures of Burj Khalifa or whatever architects do. Overall, I think it's amazing that the characters make you love them, especially Barney, because he is genuinely the worst, but he makes you absolutely adore him by the end of the series. And I just love that.
Check this out.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Normally here I would put my outro bit as saying like good evening, good morning, and good night or whatever, but turns out I'm not the only fan of How I Met Your Mother on this channel. So, you son of a bitch, I've been waiting for you! Well, you know, I guess I'm glad that's over. I hope nothing else bad happens, because I can't handle it.
Hi, welcome to the Goompty's Corner. This is the Goompty's Corner with your host, Goompty. I'm Goompty from the Goompty Corner with your host, Goompty. And today, we're gonna be like tier ranking different cheeses, I think. That's what's on the list. Okay, never mind. We're talking about How I Met Your Mother. Wait. Smokey already did this joke. Like, frame for frame. He did this exact joke?
Yeah, like frame for frame.
Like frame for frame.
Exactly. Yeah, exact frame for frame.
How does that even work?
I don't know. You guys did the exact same joke. Like, editing and everything.
Fuck, I'll just make a trailer. A trailer. I'm good at making trailers.
Yeah,
that's what
you can probably do that.
Goompty does.
That is kind of what Goompty does, yeah.
I'll make Editor, roll that intro.
I'm not gonna do that.
Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. Love does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things.
Did somebody say generous endowment? I'm Marshall Erickson. But you
Marshall, please don't do this. Please don't jump.
can call me Hercules!
Okay, I'm back to the first year after like 7 months of being away. Sorry about that. It's kind of like the half year, if you say. Yeah, I've been taking a break. It's dumb to say how quick it happened, but I did get burned out a little bit, and the videos got away from me, and I wanted to make the videos mean something to me and be like at the level of expectations I have for myself, which is unrealistic. So I'm just jumping in now. I can steal the limelight from Splumpy and just and hop on the bandwagon of How I Met Your Mother, because this is a video I've been wanting to make for a while anyways, because this show was one of the main shows I had growing up that like raised me, I guess. It's not a great thing, but in a way it kind of raised me, and like honestly, it taught me a lot of how not to grow up, because a lot of the people in the show are just awful human beings, and every single person in the show, except for Marshall, because he is God's baby boy. He is the big dog. He's the big lad. He's Big Budge. He will never do anything wrong. Praise Lord Marshall Erickson. All hail Hercules. I just gotta get all that out of the way. But every single other character has some like point or another just done the most atrocious thing you can think of, and like everyone does it. Like they have 9 seasons of this show. It's bound to have ups and downs, and Marshall's biggest down is that he tried to invite someone to Thanksgiving. So that's what kind of guy he is. But someone like Barney, his biggest issue is let's just say everything. But even though these characters have such insane flaws, like the devils themselves, they're also like really connecting to the audience, because it's a sitcom, so it's one of those comfort shows where you just, you have these specific characters in a specific place, and they're just gonna get up to hijinks, and that's just kind of every sitcom. But when sitcoms break away from that and go into more personal topics, like How I Met Your Mother does, like a lot of other shows, but I feel like How I Met Your Mother does it almost better than every other sitcom that I've seen, because it makes people so hateable, like Barney Stinson, so lovable, and you can really feel for him, and you actually get sad when shit like this happens.
2, 3, 4.
And the show is just heartbreaking in so many ways for every character. Like, you hate everyone, but you'll also cry for everyone at least once. And that's what I love about the show so much, is because, like, it's not perfect. No one in the world is. These characters are almost the exact opposite of perfect. But you can just have that comfort of just sitting there with them, enjoying these times at the bar for 9 years straight, going through life and seeing them grow and get better, and it's the best. I don't really know where this video is going. I wanted to jump on here after Splumpy's bit because he had something planned, and I didn't want to step on his toes, so you say, into showbiz. But this is also a topic that really means a lot to me, so I really wanted to get on here and just talk freely with no script, no notes. I have like 5 notes written down, and one of them is just a continuation of another. So I don't really have anything written down to go off of, which is a first for me. I usually have a big script that's like multiple pages long, talking about some bullshit like Peter Parker man. So this is new, so I hope it turns out well. I think this is also one of the most creative sitcoms I've seen, because like a lot of the jokes like are shit that I've never like seen in shows before. It's like shit that you'd see from YouTubers. Like a lot of the punchlines are like transitions into other scenes, or flashbacks to scenes we saw 10 seconds ago, just to like emphasize the point. And like I love how they do that with so many different jokes, and they make it so like unpredictable, but they also use the jokes with other things other than just physical humor or vocal humor. They use music in a way that is like unlike any other show, and I think it's also influenced how I edit videos a lot. So if you like it the way I edit videos, thank How I Met Your Mother for that, because they have some of the greatest like musical. There's so much I want to talk about with this show, and so many little details and specific things, and that honestly could be a video on its own. I want to make another video on this show eventually when I have more thoughts planned out, because I've watched this show countless times, at least 10 times, and I started watching it when I was like 6 or something like that. So like, you know, I've been through the ringer with this show, and I got a lot to say. But this is also our first co-made video, and I don't want to take too much of the spotlight, and I know I can make an hour-long video on this, so I'm just going to keep it short. I'm going to end this here. I hope you guys enjoyed the first year as much as we did. This has been the craziest ride for us. I've never expected our channel to blow up as much as it did. 2,000 subscribers isn't a lot to a lot of people, but it's a lot to us, and especially with the love of my Spider-Man video. I can't thank any of you enough for all that. It's insane to see how many people enjoy something I've created, and it's not something I'm used to. So I hope you guys can stick around, and I hope you keep enjoying the content that me and Splumpy are making, because the first year's not over. The first year is over, but we have a lot more years to come. We're not called the 10th year for nothing. We aren't called that. This joke's stupid. I hope you enjoyed what Splumpy made. I hope he gets out of the hospital soon. I don't know what happened. I heard someone broke into his house, and like there was fire involved. I don't really know what happened. Best of luck to him. I had nothing to do with it, so that's that.